Hey, it's Cheryl. Welcome to Home Studio. Today I have 4 projects. Let's get right into it. So the first project, I'm going to make a wooden bird sign, and here's the things that you're going to need. The sign from Dollar Tree, the letter transfers from Dollar Tree, and these 4 paint colors. Folk Art Acrylic in Raw Sienna, Craft Smart Acrylic in Terracotta, Apple Barrel Acrylic in Aqua Sky, and Folk Art Acrylic in Daybreak. So I have these birds it's a bird garland from the Dollar Tree, and I am just cutting 3 of them. And I'm painting them in this Folk Art Raw Sienna, all 3 of them in the same color. Now when I put them on the sign, I'm going to put them two facing one way and one facing a different way. So you'll have to paint the side that you're going to want to face upward, if that makes sense to you. And I forgot to put a little bit of this spackling. It's from the Dollar Tree in that hole. I don't really like this spackling. It works pretty well. I mean, it's a light spackling, and you have to really kind of play with it to get it in there and then let it dry, and then you can paint it. I actually didn't let it dry and I put it in there and I painted over it, and it actually worked fine in this project. So now that the birds are pretty dry, I am just taking the acrylic in the various different colors, and I'm just kind of brushing it, not dry brushing it, but heavily brushing it across these 3 birds. So I want them all to be brown, but then with a hint of a different color. So I painted in the raw sienna, and then I had this terracotta, but it was very similar to the raw sienna. So I ended up using Apple Barrel Acrylic in pumpkin orange. It's a very bright orange, but you can't tell when you paint it on these birds. And then the other ones were the Daybreak and the Aqua Sky. So it looks like yellow, blue, and orange on these birds. And I have this branch from outside, or I picked up a couple branches, and then I put the Jenga blocks, or the tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree, on to give the birds some lift onto this little plaque. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I have a cold. And I'm just facing them every which way, so they're not all the same, and also trying to hide the tumbling tower block on the bottom. And when I get that the way that I want it, I hot glue it, and then I realized I have this adhesive from the Dollar Tree, super glue. And I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive on it, and also the hot glue. And then when I'm all done gluing those down, then I glue the birds back onto the way that I like them. So I had to play with them a little bit to try to get to hide those tumbling tower blocks, but it worked. And again, some adhesive and some hot glue. And now I'm just going to take these little twigs, and I'm going to just hot glue them right underneath the bird, kind of so it looks like the bird's sitting on a tree branch. And these are real. They have buds on them too. I don't know what's going to happen to the buds in the future, but we'll see. I guess they'll probably just dry up. But it looked kind of cute, and it was real, so that's what I liked about that. And then I'm just adding a little bit more of that paint, or putting paint on top of those holes that I filled in with the spackling. And these transfers, again, they're from the Dollar Tree, and I kind of messed up a little bit, and so I'm just doing the best I can. They're just, I don't know, I mean, they transfer pretty well, but it's almost like they're really thin and it doesn't always take. So I just put the words chirp, sing, and tweet, and I centered them above each bird instead of on the sign. And what I did is I put like chirp is CHIRP, so I put the I right in the middle of the bird, and then I did the H and the C and then the R and the P, so I knew that it would be aligned up, centered up the bird. And this is what it looks like. I really like this sign a lot. I'm very happy the way it came out. I kind of really didn't know what I was going to do in the beginning, but as I just kept moving on, things kept popping in my head. Now I have this black Sharpie, and I'm just kind of dotting the areas where that the little transfers didn't stick real well. They weren't too bad, but they're just really tiny, and they worked out fine. You can't tell. And like again, I really like this a lot, and I hope you do too. And this is what it looks like hanging on my wall. Okay, DIY number 2. I have these 2 signs from the Dollar Tree, and I have that birdhouse from Walmart, but they sell them at the Dollar Tree, but they're cheaper at Walmart. And I pulled the little pieces off of these signs. Now, if you want it to be thicker, go ahead and maybe E6000 the 2 together, the front facing each other, because we're going to paint the back, and then you can clamp it and wait for it to dry overnight, and then go ahead and you know, if you're going to sell it, you're going to probably want to do that, and then that way you don't have to treat the other side. So I didn't do that for this video, but I will eventually do that. So I put the plaster, just a real thin quick coat on the back of one of these pieces, and the same Waverly chalk paint plaster, I painted the entire birdhouse except for the roof. And the roof I am painting in, let's see, it's Richard, I think it's from the Dollar Tree. It's acrylic and it's called Aqua. So I'm putting that on the roof, and you know, you can see up there on the sides too, and just one quick coat, because I like how you can kind of see through it. You can see the wood through it, so it looks kind of like the paint's wearing off, like it's painted for a while. And then now I have that brush, which is actually from Temu, and I do like that a lot. And I'm just kind of not dry brushing, a little bit heavier than dry brushing, some white on top of that, almost like it's been painted a couple different times and the paint's kind of wearing off. I really wanted to give it that old kind of rustic look. And I kind of brushed the sides in the white also. And now I have these letters. They're so nice. It is from a local dollar store here. And I know that the Dollar Tree has these different letters, but I'm going to use these. And you can stencil too, or you can use a Cricut. But I painted them in the same aqua color. Tip, I just put it in a tray or a bowl, dipped it in, and then painted the front and the sides and not the back. And just the H, the M, and the E. And I have these 3 tumbling tower blocks that I painted in the plaster, just like the color of the birdhouse. And now this wired jute is from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just cutting a circle. I'm kind of measuring the O from the wood piece to get kind of the same size, you know, as the H, the M, and the E. And then I just kind of tied it and hot glued it together, and now I'm taking some moss and I'm just going to hot glue it all the way around that, so it kind of looks a little bit like a bird's nest. And then after I'm done hot gluing it, then I just go ahead and trim it all up. And now I have this adhesive again in my hot glue, And I'm going to kind of place everything before I go ahead and glue it, just to see how it's going to work. And I liked the birdhouse sticking kind of up above on the top, and I'm putting two on the top, on the top, and then one on the bottom. That's just kind of how the birdhouse was. It was thicker on one side, or kind of more like angled on one side, so I had to use two and then one tumbling tower blocks. And then when you get them in place, go ahead and throw some adhesive and hot glue on there. And then I did the same thing to my house. Sorry about my head in the way. It's hard to see from that high. I had to really kind of get down there to make sure that it was even. And then now I'm just penciling off where the letters go, so I can, after I glue them or put the glue on them, then I can place them down exactly where I just had them. I had some glue on there, so I just took the tip of my scissors and kind of got it off before it dried. And then I hot glued the little bird's nest, the O, around, on the thing, but I did not put adhesive on that. But I am putting adhesive and hot glue on the wood letters. And then a little bit of the moss in the hole of the birdhouse. And it looked bare, so I started picking out some flowers and stuff that I had. And these are from the Dollar Tree. I don't know what they are. I think they're mums. They're just little teeny white flowers. And I'm clipping off the little plastic end there and just gluing them up in the top end of the little O there. And I still thought it looked a little bare right under the birdhouse and above the H. So I was trying to figure out what to do, and I thought maybe if I put a bird on the birdhouse that it would look better, which I was intending on putting the bird on the birdhouse anyway. I don't know, I think these are from the Dollar Tree. I just removed the little clip on the bottom of the bird and the tail fell off, but that's okay because we're going to glue it on. And I didn't necessarily think the bird matched the colors, but I thought it was okay because I guess birds don't match birdhouses in real life. I don't know, but I just put it on there. I wish I would have had a bird that was more like brown, but they're very expensive, and the cheap ones are kind of, vibrant colors, and they're all sparkly and everything, but I used what I had. And speaking of using what you had, I had this stencil. I don't know how many years I've had this one, and you can see I never even cleaned it off. I don't know why initially, but that little area below the birdhouse and above the H was bugging me. So I said, I'm going to stencil something there. So I taped the stencil on, and I have this little like sponge. Yeah, that's what it is. And those are from the Dollar Tree too. And I'm just very, very lightly dabbing on this Waverly called, which one? Hazelnut. This one is hazelnut. And then now above that, on top of that, I'm dabbing a little bit of the Waverly moss on top of that. Not on everything, just on a couple little areas. It's hard to see here, but it is really cute. And I'm glad I did that. I was a little worried, but it's just paint. You can paint over it, but I liked it. So this is what it looks like. You can put a hanger on it if you want. I didn't. I kind of like it as a shelf sitter right now. Here's a close-up of that. It's more of like a tan color with mossy green on top of it. The lighting didn't show that real well. I did put a little jute bow on top of that just to give it a little bit more interest, and I wrapped some jute around the bottom of it there, as you can see. That is the full picture of it. And now for DIY number 3. This I got at Joann Fabrics at the end of the year, and it was not $19.99. It was like $1.49 or something. So when you go to Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics, Michaels, whatever stores around you, shop the clearance, especially at the end of the season, because you can get some really good deals. So I pulled together, for this Tabasco basket, I pulled together a bunch of flowers and some paint. And this I got from, let's see, Walmart. And I just want to cover up the home sign in the middle of it, because I don't want to see that. I just want to see kind of the Tabasco basket itself. So I'm hot gluing it just around the edges there, because we're going to cover all that up with flowers and leaves. And now I have this big flower, and I'm just going to glue it up in the corner there. And then I have these, and I believe these are from the Dollar Tree. I think that big flower is from a huge pick from Walmart. And what I like to do is match, so you see the white or the yellow color on the leaves matches that flower perfectly. So I kind of pull from my stash, my huge stash of flowers. I should show it to you guys sometime. I have a huge like bookcase, and I just shove the flowers in the bookcase and layer them in different colors. Anyway, this video is too long, but maybe in my next one I'll show you guys what I did. I just pick out all of the colors of the leaves and the flowers that match each other. So if you notice, the greens match in here and the yellows match in here. And I'm just layering this up. And this was, I had filmed this probably, gosh, 3 weeks ago, and I never did get to edit and post it because my stepfather had passed away. He had Lewy body Parkinson's, and for the last year he had fell and broke his back, and for the last year it's just been so difficult helping him and helping my mom. And he got so bad. He was 90 years old, so he lived a good life. He was a good man, and he just passed away last week. We just had the funeral a few days ago. So this editing and crafting and all this is just really good. It's just helping me, you know, focus on some fun stuff instead of on, you know, all the difficult stuff that we have to go through when you lose a loved one. But he's in heaven, he's with Jesus, and he's probably looking down saying, oh yeah, don't cry for me, cry for yourselves. I don't know. That's the way I like to look at it. But anyway, this is really good for the soul, this crafting. And I am taking the spring metal sign or the words metal thing from whatever it is, piece from the Dollar Tree, and that metal birdhouse is from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make them look rusty. So the first color that I use is the burnt umber, and that is acrylic by Deco Art, and I'm dabbing it on. Oh, I put Mod Podge on both of those pieces first, and then after it dries, then you dab on the burnt umber, and then after that I dabbed on the raw sienna, and that is from Folk Art, and that is acrylic. And then now I'm putting more burnt umber on top of that. Now the edges, I just have black acrylic paint here, and I'm very lightly going around the edges. As you can see up close, it's still kind of wet because I didn't wait for all of it to dry. But I did put a coat on top of that of acrylic, and you have to wait for the paint to dry, obviously, before you put the acrylic on it, because it'll smear the paint and then it won't give you the effect of the rusty looking metal. And so that's what it looks like. And I did hot glue the spring word on the bottom there. And now I'm wiring in the birdhouse. So I just kind of popped there was kind of a long like metal stem on the birdhouse, and I just kind of popped it in there kind of tight. And the wire is from the Dollar Tree also. So most of all this stuff is from the Dollar Tree, or it's all clearance. And I doubled up that wire and just tied it onto the birdhouse and around the back. And then everywhere that the birdhouse touched I just put some additional hot glue on it. And I thought it needed a bird because these are projects, home decor, using birds. So I had this little white one. I don't know where I got it from. It's probably Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And I just hot glued that on right next to the house there. And do you see that flat area where the white flower is? I thought it needed a little bit more. Some flowers in that flat area, just it looked too flat, dull, like it needed some more. So that's what I do. I just kind of step back and look at it and keep on building it up until I get it to how I like it. And it takes time and it takes practice, and it's about placing the pieces where you see a hole or a bare area. And now I'm picking off the hot glue, and that's what it looks like. And here it is up close. I think it looked pretty rusty after it dried. And like I said, you're going to want to put a coating of Mod Podge on that after you're done painting it, after it's dry. And this is what it looks like hanging on my wall. Okay, DIY number 4, another bird project. And this is another wall hanging, and you're going to need some paint. And this is Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And that is the Apple Barrel. No, it is not Apple Barrel. It is, let's see, did I write it down? Plaster, oh, Cafe Mocha. And then you're also going to need Apple Barrel acrylic paint, Aqua Sky, if you want to use the same stuff that I use, but you'll see you can use anything. It's just a light blue color. And here is the stick again that I keep pulling apart that I found in my mom's yard. It was just a big stick, and it was laying on the ground, and I picked it up and threw it in my car, and my daughter, as she so often does, rolled her eyes and said, "Now, what are you bringing home?" You know. So, and I always say, "Well, watch what I do with it." And she's pretty creative too, but she's like, "It's a stick, Mom." I said, "Yeah, but I have some projects I'm going to do with it." So, anyway. So now I'm taking this octagon piece that I got from the Dollar Tree Plus store, and yes, we have a Plus store finally, or Dollar Tree Plus here, and I heard that we're getting 4 more in the area. So I don't know if they're converting all the Dollar Trees into Pluses, but I'm pretty happy. So I picked up a bunch of stuff from there. They're just a lot of bigger things, so you can do bigger jobs, make bigger tiered trays with their pieces. And yeah, they're a little bit more money, but this was only $3, so I thought it was a pretty good deal because it's a different shape. It's not just square. So I painted the middle. I taped it off, and I painted the middle in the plaster chalk paint, and then I pulled the tape up and I put it where the plaster chalk paint was after it dried, and I painted the top. And I'm trying to make it look kind of like wood, the top and the bottom there. So let's see, the Cafe Mocha acrylic is what I used for the brown area. Then I took the chalk paint, the Waverly plaster chalk paint, and I kind of dry brushed it across, and then I put a little bit of the black chalk paint called ink from Waverly, but you could use black acrylic or whatever you have. And I found a nice branch to snap off of the bigger branch. And then I went and reinforced all the areas that is touching this canvas here with hot glue. And these are stones that I got in that package earlier from Joann Fabrics like 2 years ago. It was like 99 cents on clearance. So I picked 2 stones that kind of look like bird bodies to me, just fun bird bodies, and glued them on. Well, I didn't glue them on first. I'm making little feet, like little stick legs, out of the wire from the Dollar Tree. And what I did is I cut off about 1 inch, and then I folded the 2 pieces in half. It's kind of tedious. You might need like tweezers to do this, but I'm making legs here, so it's like a upside down triangle kind of, and then a generous amount of hot glue on the rock for a little bird. And I got this idea off of Pinterest. So this is not exactly what was on Pinterest, it's completely different, but I saw birds made out of stones, and so I kind of came up with this. And this is a beak. It's the same thing. It's a little triangle. You just bend the wire. So you need 4 of them that are bent in half. 2 beaks and 2 pairs of legs. So I took this acrylic apple barrel, aqua sky, and I just kind of dry brushed it across the top of the plaster painted area. I just wanted this to kind of look like kind of a sunny, hazy sky a little bit, and that's why I did that. And this is what it looks like up close. I guess I probably could have made those feet a little bit bigger, but this was my first try at it, and I really like how it turned out. It's just kind of different. You could put pebbles on there. It looked like little baby birds. I think that would be cute too. But anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. If you're a subscriber, you know that. And if you're not, consider subscribing. Have a beautiful day and a blessed week. Bye.